What's happening, Hardscapers? Today we're going to talk about pricing lift and relay projects, how I do it, how I have 3 different packages for my clients. Let's get into this. If you know my story, you know that I started with lift and relays many years ago when I was starting my business. It was a great way to get into the industry, do projects that other contractors did not want to do, as well as have very low overhead in my business to be able to tackle these projects, get a little bit of capital, get a little bit of cash flow in my business to slowly start to add equipment into my business, different tools that I can then service a design build project. I still think it's a great business model, especially if you're just starting out, and we're going to actually double down on it a little bit more this year and moving forward in my business, while still being able to serve the design build aspect of the hardscape industry. But because I talk about this a lot, because we've made a couple of videos in the past, I get questions about how I go ahead and price these lift and relay projects and how I present these proposals to these clients. Now, we actually have a software called the How to Hardscape Headquarters software that's going to help you budget and estimate for projects. The link will be in the description below if you want to learn more about that, and it helps you create proposals. There's a CRM, there's time tracking, scheduling, and so much more with that. But that's essentially how we create a price for our lift and relays. I do never suggest using a square foot pricing, but I do use a square foot pricing to let the client know what they're typically getting into for a project. Whether that's on the phone or they send me a photo, I'm able to let them know, hey, just based on this photo and what I think the measurements are for this project, or maybe you can send me measurements so I can give you a little bit more accurate of an estimate, not a quote for the project. But using my square foot pricing, I can say, you're likely around this dollar amount for this. Do you want to schedule a consultation and we can give you a quote from there? That just allows the client to know, okay, what's the ballpark range that we're getting into for fixing this project? And if they are within their budget, hey, they'll have me out to their property that I can then discuss the project further with them and provide them some solutions along with a quoted price. It saves their time, it saves my time. It's a good pre-qualifier to have that dollar amount rather than asking a client, what's your budget for this? Because as me, the professional, especially with a lift and relay, I can provide them with that ballpark estimate because I've done so many of these. Now with production rates, I can get very fine and know exactly what I can quote that project. Those production rates for a lift and relay project include lifting those pavers, cleaning them off. That includes the jointing material. If there's polymeric sand still cured to those sides, that's going to take some time of scraping off those pavers, making sure they're nice and clean, setting them aside on a pallet somewhere. Then we have a couple of options for base prep, which I'll talk about later, but we can either scrape off the bedding layer, replace that, or we can replace the entire base. So a couple of different production rates to go along with whatever option they choose, that client chooses based on their budget. So then we need a production rate for the excavation, and then a production rate for re-preparing that base, as well as re-screeding, and then a production rate for relaying those pavers and installing an edge restraint and a jointing compound and final cleanup. So those are the production rates that I would break down that project for. For example, my production rate on lifting and cleaning 100 square feet of product and palletizing it is around 1 hour for every 50 square feet of product. So if it is a small 100 square foot walkway, we are around 2 hours to lift those pavers and clean them and palletize them somewhere nearby. And that's the important part, somewhere nearby, very close, because if you're getting into a larger project, you're likely palletizing them on the grass somewhere, which could be a little bit more of a walk away if it is a larger project. But for those small front walkways, we can usually get them in 1 day and set those pavers aside somewhere on those pallets very close. Where this production rate gets thrown off are those intricate cuts or those curves or anything to go along with lots of cuts in those pavers, because what we need to do then is lift up those pavers around those cuts and keep track of where they fall. So in those scenarios, we'll actually pick up those cut pieces along with those border pieces or whatever are those pavers nearby those cuts and set them aside exactly as we pick them up. So we keep that outline and we don't lose track of it. So obviously when we're coming up with the hour figure in our head of how much this paver lift and relay should cost, we're keeping track of the intricacies of that project, because no two projects are exactly the the same. Another curveball would be steps that also need to be relayed with that front walkway or a backyard patio that need to be fixed as well. Those would have your own production rates for those. But by keeping track of production rates, you can compare at the end of the project how you did on each of those and be able to update them as you go. But in the beginning, if you're just quoting a project, you're likely taking each of those steps and thinking about how many hours each of those steps are going to take you to come up with a total hour amount. And then by knowing how to price it, you would just say, okay, my overhead expenses are X for my entire season. This project is going to take up a certain percentage of my entire season. For example, if we have 1,600 hours in a season and this project's going to take 16 hours, that's 1% of our overhead that we need to apply to this project, in addition to the labor cost and the material cost and any profit that we want to make on this project. And that is how we go about pricing our lift and relays. Now, I mentioned closer to the beginning of this video how we create a few different bundles for our clients to choose from, and this is how we actually prepare this proposal for our clients. Those 3 different proposals include a lift and relay with a replacement of the bedding layer as the simplest option, most basic option, most economical option. Option number 2 is to reuse those pavers, but we're going to replace that entire base and do exactly how we install our base. That's going to be actually a significant more jump up in cost when compared to that initial economical option. That's because the most expensive aspect of any paver project is actually the base preparation. It involves the most amount of labor, the disposal, the aggregate, the delivery, all of that included in it, and we want to make sure that we're compacted properly. Now, the difference between the first package and the second package, beyond the base preparation being entirely different, is that with us doing the base preparation, we offer our labor warranty on the project. Everything else is the exact same besides the base preparation, where we're actually installing a new jointing compound, edge restraint, and so on, but that base preparation allows us to put our labor warranty on the project. And the reason why we can't put our labor warranty on the initial package where we're just replacing that screeding layer is because we don't know exactly how the compaction went, how that contractor installed that project from the base down, geotextile, geogrid in there. We don't know, so we can't offer that warranty on that. That initial package is more so just for a fix, or if a project is 15 years old, you'll likely get the similar amount of time before you get that movement if it has been in the ground for a longer period of time. And in that case, the client can't justify going to that second package for a much larger leap in the dollar amount. Now, that second package, nobody goes for. And the reason why is because of the third package. And the third package is just a little bit leap up in dollar amount when compared to that second package. And that's because the only difference is the new paver. So the third package is the same as the second, but instead of reusing the pavers, we're going to dispose of those pavers and we're going to bring new pavers in, and it's a brand new project. With that, the only dollar difference is the cost of the pavers. Usually, let's say around $5 a square foot, but we're also saving the labor in having to lift those initial pavers, clean them off, and palletize them somewhere. In this case, we're just coming in and scooping and disposing. So yes, you're spending $5 a square foot more, but you're saving a little bit in labor to justify that $5 a square foot. So if you're even considering package number 2, I would just push them towards package number 3, get that brand new project. And that is the proposal that I send to my clients. And that's what I talk to them on that initial consultation, just to let them know, hey, I'm going to send you a few different prices. One price is the basic price. We're going to replace the screeding layer, the bedding layer. It's about 1 inch. It just allows us to level the stone. We're going to clean your stones. We're going to put them back in, put a new jointing compound in, replace that edge restraint, done. But we can't provide our warranty for that. If you want our warranty, then you want to go to our second package. Our second package is going to replace the base material. So it has our name on it, and we're going to provide our warranty on that project because we did the base. That's on us. We're also going to reuse the pavers, so there's a little bit of cost savings there. But if you want to spend just $5 a square foot more, we're going to upgrade you to that third package. We're replacing that base. You're going to get updated new look pavers. It's a brand new project for you. So if you're thinking about option number 2, I would push you towards more option number 3. Just for a little bit more, you'll get a brand new project. And that's how I discuss these options with my clients. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below. Like this video if you found it helpful for whatever reason. And if you are looking for a software to help you budget and estimate using those production rates, the link will be in the description below. And subscribe to this YouTube channel for more hardscaping content like this. Thank you so much for watching.